Oh, do I feel good today? What's up, everybody? Welcome into Driving the Line. I am the coach, and we are here every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I encourage you to subscribe to our new rebranded YouTube channel. Turn on those notifications because every single time that we have a brand new show, you will be notified. You guys have made our kickoff. It's only week number 2, and it feels like we've been here for 2 years. Now, yesterday, kind of what I like to call a ho-hum day. I was the star of the show yesterday. I was the star. Going 3-0, a nice little sweat. The Suns last night, down 20, come back and win by 2 to catch that parlay. Now, before anybody in the chat says, Coach, you missed 2 plays. Yes, we did. Sometimes we make mistakes. We have 2 hockey plays. We pushed on one from Jacob, and we lost that parlay. He will be on later because I have a feeling he went into our computer and he fudged that a little bit. I will ask him about that later in the show. But we got a lot to talk about today. Remember, we're more than just a pick show. Every single one of our picks, they will scroll along the bottom of the line. If you're just here, you got to get to work. That's fine too. But we also discuss to help you become a smarter sports fan and a smarter sports bettor. So with that being said, let's bring in the stars of the show. You know them. You love them. And look who I have this morning. Oh, my goodness. My 5-tool player, AB, always here. And look at the man, the smug look. Don't let it fool you. He is the legend, Howie Schwab, ready to go this morning. Howie, last night, real quick, because I'm a diehard Jayhawks fan, and they did exactly what they do historically. They're up 9, and then for some reason, because everybody shoots good in that gym, Cincinnati starts making shots from everywhere. That was frustrating.
It was frustrating. They were up 12. I thought we were okay, but unfortunately at the end of the game, some missed free throws hurt, and give Cincinnati credit. They played hard, but disappointing. You never want to lose, and you never want to go 0-1 because that's all you played last night. But we'll try again today.
That's all we can do. Yep, we're a crew for a reason. We got 4 big plays from Howie later in the day. AB, at the top of every single show, we're going to discuss the big stories of the day and try to put a betting spin on them if we can. If we can't, it's just about knowledge is power. Last night, and Eric David already said in the chat, he missed it. Joel Embiid sets a 76ers franchise record. He had a line that's never been done before in the history of the NBA. This is a guy that we need to start looking at with his props. 70 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists. This guy's an absolute beast.
Yeah, he had a pretty good game last night. All right, now with Embiid, it was wild because not only was he drilling his shots from the field, I think he shot 22 or 23 free throws, somewhere around there, and was drilling those as well. I mean, the guy was just on absolute fire. There was nothing that they could do to stop this man. And this 2 games in a row now that he's hit his player prop in terms of points on the over, they're generally anywhere from 32.5 to 34.5, somewhere in there. And yeah, he had no problem hitting that one last night. I wish De'Aaron Fox, would have followed him in regards to his 0 for 5 from threes. Really appreciate that one from my man De'Aaron there. But no, Joel Embiid, he had a big night. So did Cat.
And we'll get to that in a second. 24-41, 21 of 23 from the free throw line for Joel Embiid. And Howie, let me come back to you. Speaking of Cat, last night when you have good, but then it's a negative vibe, Minnesota blows an 18-point lead. But Karl Anthony Towns, 62 points, franchise record, 44 in the first half. But his head coach after the game said these words: "It's disgusting, our defense tonight. Disrespected the game and ourselves." If you bet on the T-Wolves last night and you turned that game off when they were up 18, you woke up this morning, you're not a happy bettor today, are you?
No, you're not. And it's really surprising. The Timberwolves have had a great year. Edwards has been great. Towns has been great. Last night, though, when I saw he had 44 at the half, I tweeted out, hey, he's on his way to Kobe. Not quite. But to blow the game, you know what, though? A lot of times lately, you've seen teams get 20-point leads in the first half and lose the game. I mean, guys have to stick with it, keep the foot on the pedal on the metal, and keep going. And some teams in the NBA just don't. And defensively, to blow that game, that's sad for Minnesota fans.
Well, it played into our favor in the Suns game. We were down 20 with our parlay, and they came back. Kevin Durant goes north of 40. All right, those are NBA news today. Maybe we need to start looking at first half plays here on Driving the Line for the NBA moving forward, based off what Howie just said. Now, AB, I got to come to your wheelhouse because the NFL is king, and it is not close. And on Tuesday of championship week, it's usually the coaching carousel that is front page news. In Tennessee, I'm seeing reports from Adam Schefter and others that's Brian Callahan. And all I think about is that whole movie, Callahan Auto Parts. But when we think about the head coach of the Titans, and the next one's going to be the 6th, you're right there in Nashville, Tennessee. Does this name surprise you?
A little bit. First off, shout out to Tommy Boy. That's a great reference right there. Tommy just sold 500,000 brake pads. Look, the Titans, I don't believe, sold 500,000 brake pads on this hire. I have nothing against Callahan. I think that the fan base here, I can already tell from sports radio this morning, shout out 104.5 The Zone, that fans are interested because the last year and a half or so, like offensive points haven't really been a thing in Tennessee. So we'll see about that. I know a lot of fans wanted Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator from Detroit. Obviously, that didn't happen. It's a wait-and-see approach, right? You fire Mike Vrabel to hire Brian Callahan?
Right. You almost want to splash, especially with all the narratives out there, Howie, where we're seeing pictures of Bill Belichick in airports getting Chick-fil-A. We have Jim Harbaugh apparently just blowing every interview that he's a part of, because now in 2024, you can't just show up and say, hey, I'm Jim Harbaugh or I'm Bill Belichick. You got to come with a plan. And to me, the Titans with this hire, I don't see what the plan is other than trying to get a better offense. Do you?
This is a copycat league. A lot of teams go out and try to get a, quote, hot assistant and put him in place and think that he can get the job done and change the offense. And this is a team that needs to change the offense. Problem is, you're probably going to be without Derrick Henry, who's your best player. I mean, the quarterback situation is really interesting. Maybe Levis is going to be the guy for good now. We'll see. But Callahan did a good job in Cincy. Look at the wide receivers that they built up. Look at the way that Burrow was playing before he got hurt. I think they're looking at a copycat type move.
You're right. AB, go.
I was going to say, Howie brought up, a really good point. Look, this team is in full rebuild mode. Derrick Henry, free agent, he's going to be gone. All right. Ryan Tannehill, gone. This entire offensive line needs to be rebuilt. This entire wide receiving core needs to be rebuilt. There is so much that needs to happen. And quite frankly, the reason for this hire and the reason that Mike Vrabel is gone is because the brand new GM from last year, Rand Carthon, who came from the San Francisco 49ers, him and Vrabel really didn't mesh. And that really wasn't a fault of those two. It was a fault of who's in charge. All right. Now you're going to see that this thing is going to be led by the GM, Rand Carthon. And quite frankly, that's why they went and got a guy who will, quite frankly, fall in line with that approach. So that's why there's a new head coach in Tennessee. But we'll see. The pressure's on Rand Carthon because they have had horrific draft classes. And that's why the former GM, John Robinson, is out of there. And the second that he traded A.J. Brown and Mike Vrabel was pissed off about that, this entire thing fell apart.
I don't blame him at all. You are watching Driving the Line. If you're just dropping in right now, we're here every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Do not forget DTL Golf, our golf betting brand. You will never be a smarter golf fan than if you watch us today live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I encourage you to do so because the tournament starts tomorrow, the Farmers Insurance. You have less than 24 hours to get that knowledge in. Now, AB, bring the 3 back up. You use the word rebuild. And in Philadelphia, rarely do you have a team that last year went to the Super Bowl. At one point this year, they were 10-1. But now today, the word on the street is the offensive coordinator. Make sure I get his name right. Brian Johnson. He gone. Defensive coordinator, Sean Desai, gone. Defensive play caller, Matt Patricia, gone. But Nick Sirianni apparently he's not going to be gone because they have a press conference scheduled for Wednesday with Howie Roseman. So are you surprised that the Eagles appear to be getting rid of everybody except the head coach?
Yes, because it's the head coach who's the problem. All right. Why are you going to fire an offensive coordinator who doesn't call the plays? What is he to blame for? All right. We've seen the problem. Nick Sirianni came in to Philadelphia, and everyone around the league said he is not ready for this job. What happened? Day one, go back to that press conference, fumbled it up, messed it up, and he didn't really get anything going until Shane Steichen started calling plays. Well, guess what? They look great, go to a Super Bowl. Shane was gone, goes to Indy. Guess what? Came right back down. All right. Defensive coordinator was gone. What this move is it is the last ditch effort to try and just keep a head coach. You're going to get one more year, and you had better figure it out, because everyone likes to take control of power. But the problem is when you do that, you're the only one to blame if it goes wrong. So I think that Sirianni is the issue with this team. But Howie Roseman, I give that guy the ultimate credit. He is brilliant. The Eagles have been very, very intelligent how they got about it. So I defer to him. If that's what he wants to do, that's what the man wants to do, and I'll believe it because his results have shown.
When you are a big-time, arrogant head coach and you're winning, everybody loves you. We remember Nick Sirianni, Howie, when they beat the Chiefs in Kansas City this year, as he's walking off the field screaming at Chiefs fans, and everybody's saying, oh, we love that guy. Now all of a sudden that arrogance isn't so attractive anymore, and the NFL is starting to turn into a little bit like college football in this respect, that if you don't have a coach that players want to follow, they're not signing there as a free agent. Or they're telling you, don't trade me to that team. And that's hard to believe that we're saying that about the Eagles. But if you don't have a coach that players want to play for, A.J. Brown is a perfect example of that. 2 weeks ago, he's all over social media, cleaning out his locker, not being a team player. This screams to me of desperation. You?
I agree with that. I at first was surprised that he was not fired. But to me, it's great. Blame everybody else. Blame the defensive coaches. Blame the offensive coordinator. Blame everybody. Bottom line is you went from 10-1 to the pits. You lost to a average Tampa Bay team on the road in the playoffs and got blown out. I mean, a lot of the games they lost at the end, their defense, unbelievable how bad it was. Their offensive line, which used to be incredible, suddenly fell apart. And now Kelsey's going to probably retire. And there are going to be a lot of changes in Philly. They have some talent. I mean, getting Brown back healthy would be nice. And, of course, if Swift ran the ball well, which at the end of the season he was not running it that well, they're not far off. I mean, let's face it. The division is Dallas-Philly. So
That's it.
And for a long time, it was Philly. Yep. But now they have to regroup. They have to figure out really what went wrong. And obviously, they're not blaming Sirianni for all of it. So he's back. One shot. Right.
So it's all Dallas. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Dallas and Eagles is what it's all about. Now, let's spin it forward. We do have some news concerning one of the games today, or this weekend, excuse me. Now, yesterday, according to Adam Schefter and others, Debo, who only played 9 snaps, AB, last week against the Packers, he went down, grabbing the shoulder. It looked like it was worst-case scenario. He did not break anything, according to the x-rays. Now, that does not mean he's going to be in the lineup this week. From a prop perspective, that doesn't only affect his numbers, but it could affect Kittle, Purdy, everybody that's connected to Debo. How big of an impact does this guy still make for the 49ers?
All right, so let me ask you again. Did you say that he's not in the lineup? I couldn't understand what you...
No, I said we don't know if he's in the lineup or not. They're saying he's like 50-50. We don't know if he's going to play or not.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, I thought you were saying that he was out. I was like, God, that is big news. Okay, so look at the impact that he had not being on the field for the 49ers against the Green Bay Packers. It changed this offense, and especially for a quarterback like Brock Purdy, who there's nothing negative I could say about the guy. He is playing well over his head, and Kyle Shanahan is an excellent play caller and offensive mind. That being said, Deebo Samuel is unbelievably important for this offense, so they're going to need him for sure. Him just being on the field changes the way that a defense plays against the 49ers. Now, the good thing is that the Lions, they can give some things up. All right. So getting him on the field is step one. And then we'll find out exactly the percentage of how healthy he is, how much, he's a part of the game plan. But yeah, you saw it. When he's not on the field, it changes that team.
No doubt. Now, Howie, last week we cashed Kittle's over receiving yards. We also saw Baker Mayfield, just like what AB's talking about, he was able to really gouge that Lions defense down the field. Mike Evans had almost 150 yards passing. So you got to believe that this week the Lions are looking at that defense and thinking about gouging as well. Excuse me, the other way around. You know what I'm saying? So when you're looking at the Lions defense and you don't have Deebo, are you still able to gouge like the Buccaneers were able to gouge when you had Mike Evans on the outside?
Well, the one guy who will benefit from this most is Ayuk. I mean, he will have a big game if Samuel doesn't play. Realize this also. Samuel runs the ball a bit, so that will affect their run game too. It's a big situation. Don't write him off yet, but if he doesn't play, it changes the game, absolutely. To me, Ayuk is going to be a factor, a huge factor now. They can still move the ball down the field. Not as efficiently, obviously, with Samuel if he's out. But I still think they have a good shot to put up a lot of points on the board, given the Lion defense is the secondary.
I agree. Ayuk did not have a big game last week, but he's been really big the last 5 or 6 weeks for the 49ers. AB, go.
I can tell you the biggest thing to the 49ers, and this is more important than Deebo Samuel being on the field, is that defensive front getting to Jared Goff. They were getting their ass kicked by the Green Bay Packers offensive line. Left and right, front to back the entire game. They couldn't get to Jordan Love. That was the biggest problem. All right, so yes, Deebo Samuel, big part of what they want to do, but they had better get some pressure on Jared Goff, because if they don't, if they thought Jordan Love was cutting them up, son.
Boy, we cashed his completions last week, the attempts, the yards. Jared Goff played fantastic. By the way, Taylor says, I'm going back to the Ayuk well this weekend. Guess what, Taylor? I probably am going to do that too. We're going to be live. We're going to be live Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern time right here, Driving the Line, a very special Championship Sunday episode of the show. I encourage you to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out. All right, let's get to our picks today, and I'm going to give AB and Howie a little bit of a break and bring in our resident NHL and soccer expert. Now, he got up to an incredible start last week, but Jacob, you never know how tough you are until you have a losing day, which yesterday. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I almost had the mute button on. Almost.
It's all right. We've got producers for that. We can take care of that for you. Now, last week you started like 9-2-1 on fire. Last night I'm laying in bed and I'm looking at the scores and I'm like, oh, the Kings tied it at 3 late in regulation. Still a chance for a push in the parlay, but alas, a shootout and they lose. How are you feeling today about coming back and facing that losing fear?
Listen, it's sports betting. It happens. You know, you lose, you move on. Luckily, I have been so successful the last year, 30 days, 2 weeks that we can take a loss and we're still at plenty of units. We get right back at it today with some early soccer picks, and I'll have tons of free plays in the NHL and NBA later today on my socials and in my Discord. So
my man is everywhere. So TJ Parker, very important, because if you're going to be a true member of the crew, Jacob, everybody knows in the universe you have to have a nickname. And TJ said, what is Jacob's nickname? Well, here's what we're going to do. I want the chat to throw in some suggestions. And if you win, then I told you our merch store is going live next Thursday, February 1st. So that is going to be routinely our prize. It will be a merch coupon with a code probably, but we will give it directly to you. You choose something in the merch store if you win something here on the show. So we need to know, what is Jacob's nickname going to be in our universe as a member of the crew? And Jacob, of course, you have to approve it because we'd never want to call you something that you don't like, but you do need a nickname. All right.
I
With all
trust
that
the crew.
Okay, so do I. So with all that being said, there are soccer games around the world every single day. Not always the big sports, but you said last week these smaller leagues are, quote, my jam. So up your jam alley today, what do we got?
Yeah, I used to have an article called the Lower League Lowdown. So I'm going back to the well, like you guys said with Ayuk. And today I'm going to England League One. I'm taking the Exeter versus Bristol Rovers game. I'm going to be on Bristol Rovers minus 0.75 and their team total over 1.5 goals. They're taking on the 21st place Exeter team, while Bristol Rovers is in 13th place. Maybe not the best team overall. When they win at home, they always score 2+ goals. And Exeter, horrible road team. 0-8-1 their last 9 on the road. They've allowed 2+ goals in each one of those losses and have not scored in 6 out of their last 8 losses on the road. So this is more a bet on Bristol against Exeter than on Bristol Rovers, but Bristol Rovers at home score a lot of goals. We've seen them in goals scored in almost every single home game. And against this bad team, I think they step it up and get their team total over and a win. And then my second play is going to be a 2-sport parlay. I'm going to be in League One again. I'm on Bolton, who is in 4th place, taking on a 22nd place Cheltenham. Bolton, 4 out of 5 the last overall, 7-2-1 their last 10 at home. And 7 out of those 9 wins have seen 2+ goals in that, have seen them score 2+ goals. And Cheltenham has only won 2 out of their last 12 road games. And then we see Edmonton Oilers taking on a bad Columbus Blue Jackets team. Edmonton really on fire right now, 10-0 straight up their last 10 games. We've seen the over hit in 13 out of the last 20 games against the Blue Jackets. And Edmonton is also 10-4 straight up their last 14 at home against Columbus. We know Edmonton scores a lot of goals, so this is going to be a parlay on Bolton team total over 1.5 goals and Edmonton to score 3+ goals in regulation. That's usually like a special alt-line parlay, alt-line pick that you would find in your book, not just a team total over, but in regulation. And that parlay pays out about 128, I believe.
You probably you probably don't know this, but I'm a next level soccer capper. So I'm going to be able to help you from time to time with soccer picks. So to educate the people at home that are brand new to soccer betting, because we have brand new people coming in every single day, the 0.75, you're saying, what's a 0.75? Here's what it is. If Bolton or Bristol wins by 1, you will win half of your bet. If they win by 2, you win your full bet. Because in soccer, you can do 0.25, you can do 0.5, you can do 0.75, or you can lay the full goal. So always explain that to you. English One is the league, correct, Jacob?
Yeah. Yes, sir. And, I've had too many pushes so far. So I instead of taking the -1, I said the 0.75 because I think they get the win if they push, because it is soccer. A 1-goal win happens. At least we get a half win, and you increase that bankroll a little bit.
All right. I like that explanation. By the way, Tom from Pittsburgh says, how about Jacob's Jam? Interesting. But then AP said the same thing, 4 or 5 down. So if we go with that, Tom would be our winner and not AP. Chad, who runs the chat for us, says, how about J. Cool? Do you think you're cool enough to be a J. Cool?
I'm getting there.
I think we have some work to do.
A little bit. I'm learning. I'm learning from the best. And, I got to say, Coach, it has been fantastic being here for all the people who want to get involved. This is just top notch, the best guys around. So, improving on a daily basis.
Well, I appreciate it. And we're all going to grow together. I've always said this, there are diamonds in the rough. And if you don't give somebody a chance, you're never going to find out what they can do. Jacob, thank you very much. He'll be in the chat the rest of the show. You have any questions for Jacob, put them into the chat and he will answer them for you in real time. By the way, shout out to Nathan. He says, happy Tuesday to the best crew in the land. On the show and in the chat, we are one. We are one. Now, bring the stars back in. because now we got to get to some hoops. And AB, if I know you, like I think I know you, you and Howie are not going to sit on a negative day without coming out like a rabid dog. So I need your – no, you know what? I'm going to have you sit there for a second because I want to chop things up for Howie. Howie, I want you to give me your first two, UAB and Nebraska, and then I'll come back for your other two. Why do you like those two games today?
Well, UAB is a very underrated team in my mind. Andy Kennedy's done a great job with that program. Charlotte has a 4-game winning streak, but those are against lesser opponents in the league. To me, UAB is a good play here. They have one of the best rebounders in America in Yexel Lubkenberg, a kid who almost went to St. John's. UAB has a variety of scorers, 4 guys averaging double figures. So I'm going to go with UAB over Charlotte. I saw Charlotte play against Florida Atlantic. I think they're fair, but I'm going the other way. Nebraska laying the 2.5. To me, Ohio State on the road is a different team than at home. And Nebraska at home is dynamite. And last game, Nebraska shooting the 3 was huge in a win against Northwestern. 7 for 13. And Fred Hoiberg, this is his best team as Nebraska coach. I'm going to go with Nebraska.
Matty, I said, don't tell me how he's going against my Charlotte pick. I need to cash out right now. Matty, you probably do. AB, let me come over to you. I'm an idiot. I'm an absolute idiot. Because what is this show built on? The universe, right? The crew, right? How do we not do the crew's play of the day off the top of the show? What did I do? Let's do it right here, right now, please.
Yeah, I was just about to bring it up. I didn't want to interrupt you there, but yeah. So the crew play of the day have 4 options. Kristaps Porzingis, yesterday's pick, was scratched. That's why the NBA is so difficult. But here are the 4, and the way that you play is this. Vote in the chat. You'll see it at the top, and at the end of the show, we will announce what was the most voted on pick, and that will be the play of the day. So CJ McCollum, over 3.5 threes at plus 150. Syracuse, minus 3.5 against Florida State. Texas, plus 4.5 against Oklahoma. And James Harden, over 2.5 threes at minus 115. Those are your 4 options. Vote in the chat now. We'll update it here soon.
All right, very good. Now, I know you got 2 big plays coming out of college basketball today. Where are we headed?
We are going to first Kentucky Wildcats, all right, the SEC. We're going to look at them against a good South Carolina basketball team. This is in Columbia here, Kentucky on the road. Here's an interesting note for you, all right? Kentucky is 83% against the spread on the road this season, 5-1 strong. And quite frankly, they haven't even really looked that good. Calipari has a Ferrari of a team ready to go. They lost their last road game against Texas A&M. I think he is going to want to see and test this team, test that Ferrari on the interstate, see what he can do with it. So we're going to take him at a short number here, minus 4.5. Let me tell you, this number is going to move quickly. Grab 4.5 while you can. It'll be 5.5, 6 before you know it. We're also going to take Houston here. Another tough game, but Houston can get the job done. We're getting them under 3. Essentially, we need them to just take 3. Get it, man. That's what Houston does. It's going to be a fun one tonight. Take the Cougars there.
You know, every time we bring up South Carolina, it reminds me of a funny story. You remember when Frank Martin was a head coach at South Carolina? Like one of my favorite coaches of all time. But this is an absolute true story. When he was the head coach at Kansas State, and remember he had all those good years, Howie, and everything was rolling. Then for some reason,
Final Four.
There you go. But then the head people at Kansas State got involved. Everything fell apart, and he was leaving. I get a phone call one day. I look down. It says Frank Martin on my phone. I kid you not. And I pick it up. He goes, Coach. And I had met him a few times. He says, Coach, I need your help. I'm trying to become the new head coach at Miami University. Could you get a hold of The Rock for me so he can call the administration and help me get a job there? True story. Then he ends up going to South Carolina. Never went to Miami. They have a pretty good head coach, but that's a true story. When you pick up your phone and Frank Martin's on the other end, you do what he asks you to do.
And Coach, let me tell you something. He's doing a heck of a job at UMass. UMass was really struggling. When he went to UMass, they've changed things around. And they have a couple of really good players that I love. to me, UMass is a very interesting team. Watch them in the A-10.
There you go. Watch them in the A-10 and perhaps maybe even the NCAA tournament. AB, go.
Coach, if you could do me a favor, if you could call up The Rock and get him on the show tomorrow, that'd be fantastic.
Well, shout out to him today. Big news coming out of that world. The Rock is now on the board of TKO, the new parent company of the UFC and WWE. Everybody thinks I hate the WWE. No, I was pissed at Vince. I don't hate the WWE. I was there for over 10 years.
Oh, come on, pal.
Come on, pal. They just signed a $5 billion deal today or yesterday to be on, wait for it, Netflix. All their programming is going to be on Netflix. 10 years, $500 million a year, $5 billion total. I think Netflix would be a great place for driving the line. Don't you, AB? A great place.
I think it'd be phenomenal. So you're telling me I could cancel this Peacock subscription?
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be.
Here's a question for you, really quickly. All right.
Yes.
Peacock, they had the NFL playoff game that was on, right?
Yes.
So everyone had to go and subscribe $5.99 and then probably canceled right after it. If you pull us back on the 3 screen, if you were running Peacock, okay, right after that, you're going to have a bunch of people that probably unsubscribed. They just wanted that game. Would you send newsletters like they did saying, hey, here's the value, or not send anything and hope people forget and they just renew for another month? And then they're like, okay, now I think that's what they did. And it was smart. They probably made about $10 million doing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you do promote it. I think you promote some of the other things you have. I mean, the NBC stuff, okay, but they have some movies. They have some things. WWE right now is good. I mean,
it is better than I thought. You're right. I went through it and looked. Yeah. Peacock is strong. Like I was Big like, I might keep this for a while. Yeah.
You know what I watch on Peacock? Admittedly, I love the Real Housewives, and we're thinking about driving the line after dark. Maybe we'll talk about I love Real Housewives, and they're all over Peacock. So I'll admit it. The Real Housewives Ultimate Road Trip, love that too. I'll admit it. Hey, it is what it is.
I thought you were going to say some of those 80s Jim Crockett promotion territory wrestling. I thought that's what you were going to
That's adfreeshows.com. Our good friend Conrad Thompson over there. If you don't know all those shows, go check them out. They're great partners of ours, and we're working together with them as well. By the way, Big Cheesy said, Coach's arm hurts from the name drop. They're not really name drops if you actually were on TV with them like for 3 years. It's like when you have a passing and you say, oh, I met the Rock. That's a name drop. Not when you got rock bottomed many, many times.
I can say this. I saw them together up at ESPN. Rock was there. I saw Cena up there.
Yep.
A bunch of guys.
What, you saw John Cena?
Yep.
Can't see me?
Yeah, exactly.
The joke did not land.
I got it.
By the way, Coach, you
Yeah.
want to be honest about confessions?
Sure.
I am a diehard Young and the Restless fan. I do not miss the show. I watch it almost every day. I can tell you all about Nikki and Victor and everybody else. I like that. My wife and I watch it and love it. So there you go. While we're revealing secrets of our TV, I throw that out.
Howie loves the Young and the Restless. Oh, I'll never know enough about you, Howie Schwab. Now, AB, go.
That's a T-shirt right there. Go ahead and mark that one down.
Oh my gosh, add that. Producer, add that to the list. By the way, our merch store drops next Thursday. Our very first shirt, Us Against the Books, the Crew, and that came from the Crew. So I
have one for Jacob, by the way. I think Jacob, we should have the Technicolor Dream Coat for Jacob.
Nice,
interesting.
Biblical.
If he can spell that. All right, Howie, let me come back to you. I've already seen 2. And this is why I love doing this new show. I'll just be honest with you, because we can have time to talk and joke around, and it's not just firing picks at you. If you like that, great. But that's not what we're about. This is what we're about. This is fun. This is how you start your day. Now, Howie, you gave me 2. I need 2 more. What do we got?
Well, I'm going with Creighton over Xavier. Creighton has been pretty good lately, 5-1 last 6 games. Xavier has been playing well, has won 3 straight. But I think, to me, there's one player who's a key. Kalbrenner, the big guy inside. He can score. He can rebound. He can even shoot outside. Creighton's giving a lot of points, but I think Creighton will cover this and is playing better. And then tennis. I haven't lost in tennis yet, so why not? One more. The Medvedev-Hurkacz match should be wild. I have over 40.5 games, which is a lot, but Hurkacz is incredible with his serve. 86% of his games on his serve, he wins on hard courts. Medvedev, he's a battler. He's a scrapper. He's already had matches in this tournament where he could have easily been bounced, but he's a fighter. I think this is going to be a wild five-set match.
Howie, I could have. AB, was your hearing not? Did it kind of cut out there? I could have swore Howie just said he hasn't lost yet in tennis here on the show. Did you say that, Howie?
I think that's right. No.
No. You're exactly right. Yeah,
I'm messing with you.
I'm 4-0 or 5-0.
I'm messing with you, Howie. I'm just messing with you.
Yes. It's funny you say that because this morning I'm watching the Sinner match and saying, did I give that out? I don't think I did because, by the way, before the tournament, and I should have said this on the show, I was picking Sinner to win the tournament. And he was a great number. I didn't get to say it because it was a day late. But I think Sinner's going to beat Djokovic in the next match, which will be wild.
It'll be fun. Now, next year, what we could do is, because the numbers are always changing at BetMGM, our favorite sports book, and we could, even if it's a day late, say what it is now, because they're always moving. So we can do that. Something to think about as we grow with the show. Now, Corey says, Coach, Clippers, Lakers moved to 234.5. See how that happens? It went up 2 points in the last hour. That's why it's so important to get it in when you want to get it in, as some people used to say. Now, I still like it at that number. The Clippers and the Lakers, they have become over teams. And when the Clippers play faster, they play a lot better. And I mean a lot better. And I was so busy, I didn't even have my notes in front of me. But it doesn't even matter. The Clippers, the last 5 out of 6 games, they've gone over this number. The Lakers routinely go over this number. So I think the Lakers have really been struggling as of late. When they play faster, they don't get stuck in the half-court offense, and they score a lot more points. So I love that over. Even at 234.5, I probably would say 235 is my limit, because we've seen a lot of totals come in right around that number, but I don't mind that 2-point surge. Then our other one, the reason I like the Knicks and the Nets over 222.5 is I like the arena. I did a lot of shows at Barclays Center. And it is just a great shooting environment. I think sometimes when you're handicapping games or handicapping sports, we forget. In an NCAA tournament, you're going to hear me, Howie, and AB say it a lot. If they're playing in a dome, then that affects the shooting. It just does. And the Nets have great shooting. And the Knicks, they're kind of like the Cavs that I referred to the other day. They play to the speed of their opponents. They can score a lot of points. And I think this number, this is the sweet spot, 222.5. I would play it up to 224. That would be as high as I would go. But I like both of these. If you notice, these are rivalry games, both teams, both games in the same city. So I think tonight we have a lot of energy. And I think on TNT, you'll see us cash with the coach 2 different times. All right. We're here every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We encourage you to check us out today, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Turn on those notifications because we have DTL Golf with our man Steve Scott. Fast Eddie Fernandez live from Mexico. We'll be discussing, among other things, Nick Dunlap, who just made history winning as an amateur for the first time in 32 years. But now he's getting some negative press. Why? And where could he possibly be going? We'll discuss that all, plus our picks for the Farmers Insurance. And remember, that tournament starts tomorrow. It's a Wednesday to Saturday tournament, about 60 miles from where I'm sitting right now.
Coach,
right,
now I gotta interrupt you real quick.
Please.
Pull us back on.
Yeah.
We almost missed the pick again for the audience. We've got to announce what it's going to be.
That's where I was going to. That's where I was just headed to that.
I just wanted to make sure we're all good. I'll take the L on that one. So
I'll take it because I'm an idiot. Go. What do we got?
Syracuse -3.5 is your winner at 42% of the vote. So that is
okay.
the Cruise play of the day. Syracuse.
I thought it was going to be the Red River Shootout.
Right. Yep.
You're surprised. I'm a little surprised too. Do you like Syracuse 3.5 today, Howie?
That's a game that's really scary to me because both teams have been hot and cold. If I had to have a gun in my head, yeah, I would take Syracuse.
Okay, very good. John says this is way better. I'd rather chill and hang out. AB, I got a funny tweet yesterday from one of our OGs, and this speaks to how people want to be here for the entire show. They never want to miss a minute, and I respect that. And I got a tweet that says, Coach, I can't do 51 minutes. I got to go do something else. And I didn't know that we had people like handcuffed to the show, and they couldn't leave until we were off the air, which is exactly why we have the picks at the bottom of the screen the whole time. I laughed at that, AB. You?
Yeah, it's let me say, I get it. It's funny. I laugh too, but I get it. And I have an announcement for everybody to make it even easier for everyone. And no matter what time that you come in, starting today, you will see when you go to the show, no matter what time, you're going to see this thing segmented out by each capper, their picks, the breakdown, NFL, college basketball, hirings, you name it. So come in whenever you'd like, jump to the spots that you want. We'll have you all set up.
I love John. It's not that I can't leave. It's that I don't want to. That's what it's all about.
Hey, now you can't leave.
Yeah,
right, so
exactly.
I just had to quote that movie.
All right, it is time for the closing bell. This is how we end every single show with my man, the 5-tool player. What do we got today, AB?
Coach, what we have is actually a look ahead to tomorrow. And this is why Wednesday's show, 10 a.m. Eastern, is going to be so important. We are going to break down team totals for the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship. Now, not only are we going to look at where the books have the numbers for each team, but there is really a workflow that we're going to use for all other prop bets by just using that right there. So not only will you get information on betting team totals if you'd like, but it's going to break down exactly how we go about betting anything in both of these games. Pay attention. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Are you trying to tell me that we're going to try to make the audience better and smarter without giving them a direct pick? Is that allowed in sports betting, AB?
I believe that it is. And Patty says it best right there. The best. Patty's fantastic. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn a little bit, which is scary if I'm on the whiteboard, but we're going to have some fun doing it. It's going to be great.
Patty, I can't wait to see the picture of you in a I am a member of the crew t-shirt. Can't wait to see that. Can't wait to see you, us against the books, hashtag the crew. Can't wait to see all that little DTL on the back. Oh, wait till you guys see that merch store next Thursday. Cannot wait. Howie, any final words?
It's just fun being here. It's just fun being involved. We have a great time. We're happy that people are so involved. I get some comments on Twitter, and we just love doing this. We try to win, but we also try to have fun. And that's what it's all about. Entertain and inform and enlighten and just enjoy it. I mean, there's enough negativity in this world. Let's stay positive and have fun.
Could not say it any better myself. All right. That's all the damage that we can do. We'll see you this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern time with DTL Golf with me, Steve Scott, and Fast Eddie Fernandez. But in the meantime, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Tuesday tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, level, the legend, Howie Schwab. Jacob's ladder. We'll figure that out. My 5-tool player, AB, and everybody behind the scenes making this show look like $1 million. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about right here every single weekday at Driving the Line. Good luck.